This episode of Disturbed, the American Horror Story podcast, is brought to you by Tweaked Audio.
To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Welcome to Disturbed. Tonight we are talking about Season 8, Episode number 5, Boy Wonder. My name is Chris Mao, and with me tonight is...
Rob Southgate.
All right, guys.
I should say the on the mend Rob Southgate.
On the mend, getting better every second. You look so much better than you did last episode, Rob. That's great. No, but we're talking about Episode 5, which we're really getting into some juicy stuff. If you haven't seen it yet, be warned, this one is full of all sorts of great stuff to see and to look at. So we'll get into that as we go. So yeah. What do you think, man?
Now, you said the name of the episode is Boy Wonder?
Boy Wonder.
Where's Adam
Now
West?
We
know what that means. Yeah, I was going to say, now we know what that means. Man, this episode, I was so blown away by this episode.
Yeah.
This was a high point out of 8 seasons. That's how much I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's the number one episode, but it is. But it's hard to pick a number one. But when you talk about benchmarks, like when it's hitting its stride, this episode hit its stride.
Right. Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, there is a lot. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of seeing what's going on. They put Michael through the 7 Wonders test, which is absolutely amazing. I kind of love that whole part of it, and then the things that happen after it are good. So I just couldn't believe it how great it was. So.
Oh yeah. No, it was phenomenal. So it picks up exactly where the last one left off.
Yes,
which is Cordelia's passed out, and we see her waking up outside. Now this is crazy. She wakes up outside of Miss Rebishow's, but it's after the apocalypse.
Right.
So you can see everything's destroyed, and she sees this white demon standing there, and his minions, all these like zombies, come up and start ripping her flesh.
Right. It was very Walking Dead. It was like right out of Walking Dead.
It really was. And I knew that had to be like a dream or a flashback or whatever because it didn't make sense.
Right.
But at the same time, it was done so well. It was fun to watch. Well, and you're going...
it was great to watch, but they kind of, I think they did that because of the trailer that they showed where Cordelia says something like, I've had this vision and it's horrible. And what I do now will decide the fate of the world. So then they kind of show this and you're like, oh my God, she did something horrible. And
see,
the world is ending, which isn't. This is just a dream she's having, or a vision. So
I figured that it was a vision. I figured that when she passed out, she was having a vision of the future of where this could all be leading, because she very well could lead right to that point.
Right. Paul Bettany was in this episode. I didn't know that.
Was he?
A vision?
Oh, the vision. Oh, you're the worst. You're the worst.
That was good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we've seen what her vision of the future is. It's pretty bleak. That also reminded us that we are not at the apocalypse yet. Okay.
Right. Well, she snaps right back into, Hawthorne's school for the exceptional young men. And,
right. Well, but then we get our flashback to Miss Robichaux's, and we get to see some of the witches that are in training. So we got to see Mallory has big power.
Right.
And I think that was setting us up.
Yes, I do too.
Mallory is going to be the one that's going to go toe to toe with Langdon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we knew that from that scene earlier, but I think now we've seen she is the opposite. He is this dark, evil character. Right. She's like, Mother Nature, but she's got huge power.
So I don't know if she's opposite, but she's an equal force to him.
Well, I don't think it's going to be polar, like black and white opposite.
Right. But she's good and he's not. And I think that's right. I mean, I think that opposite, they're obviously on opposite sides of the.
If there was a Venn diagram of the two of them, her bubble would be way more to the right and his would be way more to the left. And that gray area, I think, of evil would be actually larger for him. Like she'd have less dipped into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that I loved was Coco, who is freaking terrible.
She's awful still. Awful.
Oh my gosh. And she's like, this place sucks ass. And oh my gosh. And the best part is when it revealed her powers.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm a gluten detector.
Right.
Oh my God.
Well, the explanation's great. I had this tingly feeling, and my brother was eating a scone or biscotti, and I knocked it out of his hands. Like it was like this great, huge ordeal that she did this, and it's probably her just saying, "Don't eat that," and that was it. But of course, being so self-important and narcissistic, that
it's got to play in though. There's got to be a point when her power, just like the X-Men, each of them, their power shines through at some magic point. There's got to be something where she's like, "No, don't eat it."
Maybe he has celiac disease, and that's how they get him down. That would be great, wouldn't it? She's like giving him but then Cordelia explains it as you sense danger, and that's a very powerful.
Well, she's also trying to get the father's money in there.
Oh, sure.
So
they're only letting me in here because he donated $1 gazillion to him.
Yeah, and I kind of think that was true.
Right. Well, but did he also give money to? Did he give money to Hawthorne? Or did he give money to? I can't even think of what the name of the.
Well, he gave money that got her in there,
right?
In the facility.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's controlled by who? I can't think of it. It's been 2 episodes, so I can't. But you know what I mean? Did he give that money to them too? I'm sure he did, but you know what I mean. There's What is that whole thing? Or did they give money to them? Did the witches give the money that the dad gave them to the other people? Because we're going to talk about that as our theory after this one. So
yes.
Yeah.
That was an amazing scene though. That was killing me. And I did love seeing the witches in their environment there. I loved seeing that interplay with Cordelia and the various witches. The whole thing was great. So is this where they made Marsden take the trial?
Well, so here's what goes on. Cordelia, after she wakes up, makes the statement that she is going to, in 2 weeks, we're going to give him the 7 Wonders test.
Okay.
And so then she and Myrtle, the witches, go back to the coven. Myrtle and Cordelia kind of have it out. Myrtle's giving I can't believe you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And Cordelia kind of says, listen, I need to find out who our next successor is because I'm weakening. And
and it showed she had that scar thing.
Had that scar thing or whatever it was on her body. And so then, Myrtle's like, okay, I guess I kind of understand what you're talking about. But then Myrtle also cautions her and says, there's great power here in the building. And, Mallory is strong. And I believe Madison is really strong as well. So, I mean, she goes, cast your net wide for a successor. Don't just focus on Michael because could be powerful. And she even made the statement, just because your mother passed the test doesn't mean she would be a good Supreme. So maybe maybe she set it up where there's multiple people that could have passed the test. That 7
which is similar to what happened in Coven, where for a while there, you were wondering who's going to be the Supreme.
Right.
I don't think it's cut dried, although the Warlocks are pushing for Michael to be the Supreme.
Sure. Well,
they think they've got the solution.
Well, and their legend is if a male ever passes a test, that he will be the Supreme. So
right.
That's kind of what they do. So that kind of did that. Then Coco came in, and then they go to the test. I think is after that.
Well,
there's something before that.
Right. John Henry Moore, which is Cheyenne.
Yes.
He's not buying this. So he goes off to get proof.
Well, do you know why he doesn't buy it?
Well,
so when they're doing
at one point he saw the demon face.
Right, when they're doing the blessing on him and they're doing blood from a body, salt from the ocean, or water from the sea, blah blah blah, whatever it was. He had that vision and saw the devil's face, and even Langdon kind of looked at him and it's like one of those blink kind of things where like you see the face and then it goes back and you're not sure if you see it.
Right.
He has that doubt. He's like, I saw the doubt demon face. Let's go.
Yeah. Right. So Cheyenne leaves. He goes to the gas station. Meade pulls up next to him.
Right.
And plays feeble, like, oh, I can't work this. And the whole time you're like, oh, what's going to happen?
Hold on a second. So I'm going to ask this question. As we are going to see, is that Meade the robot or Meade?
I don't think we know yet.
Right.
I don't think we know yet. I think it's Meade the real person.
Right.
I think everything in the last couple episodes that we've seen of Meade is Meade the real person. I don't think Meade the robot shows up until after the apocalypse.
So the apocalypse? Okay. Just saying, I don't know when that comes in, but yeah, Langdon has Meade. It was poorly set up. It was kind of a convenient way, but it was great.
It was great that when she cut the tendons and he fell right back and then she slit his throat,
right?
Pours gasoline on him, lights a match, and she's out of there.
See
Boom.
You later. Then,
that was crazy. I mean, it was awfully convenient.
Yeah.
But
it was. I mean, I saw him sitting there and like, number one, it's kind of funny how, they make the comment about witches earlier about who gets the aisle seat or flying over in a plane.
Right.
When you think that they might be able to travel some different way. And then there's Cheyenne as John Henry Moore driving a really nice, was a Jaguar. I think it was a Jaguar. Cause
it was
really nice car filling up gas at some podunk gas station in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And then getting torched. So,
oh my gosh. Then we find out that Ariel is working with them.
Yes.
Because he's so dead set that Marsden is going to be the Supreme.
Right. Langdon.
Like this is Langdon. Like this is our time.
Right.
This is what's going to happen. And I thought that was a pretty good reveal. I had no idea that was going on.
Mm-hmm. And he said he's the one who told me when he left. And
yeah. And she also said when he's going in for his 7 Wonders test, Meade says to him, you're going to do great. Like she's all encouraging. And she's like, don't mention your father.
Yes.
Oh my God.
By the way, don't mention your father. So
I totally loved the old timey newsreel 7 Wonders test.
Yes. It was it was cute.
Well, it was. And the thing is, I think that like the things that we saw were not what his real tests were. I think that any test they would have done would not have been as cool looking as what you wanted. So instead they did this like hokey thing. It's like, whoa, it's a flash of light. Oh, they all went, oh, yay.
Yeah.
I think that was on purpose because otherwise the whole time you'd be like, yeah, that looks fake or they just made it all fake. They made it kind of fun. And you saw the aftermath that they all bought into it.
Sure.
And then Cordelia has one more test, number 7.
Yes.
And she throws a curveball into the whole thing that he has to raise Misty Day.
Yes.
They've already established you can't do this.
Well, so these are the 7 tests that he has to go through. And I don't know what order, what he has to do, but I think it's important. They talk about telekinesis, which is being able to summon something through the air.
Right.
Like, hey, I want that glass of wine, whatever.
Each of them were tricks.
Right. Well, there was one that, was it Council Minia, where you basically control people. There was transmutation, which I thought was more like teleportation. Where like he disappeared and reappeared someplace else.
Reappears behind him. Yeah.
Divination, which is trying to, figure out knowledge. Then there was pyrokinesis, which obviously create fire. Then there was Vitalis, which is healing, which I believe is something to do with the health. And then they get to the last one, which is dissension, which is fighting demons, basically. And can you do it now? The original or the way the test is supposed to go is if you can hold the demons off.
Right.
If you can hold them off, then you're strong enough to be the Supreme. If you can't hold them off, you get sucked into hell. Now that happened to Misty. She got sucked into hell.
Right.
From Common.
But Cordelia adds to it. You have to get her out.
Right. Well, but then Cordelia did that to Langdon, saying, you need to go get her. And Cordelia was like, you haven't, when the council confronted her about it, she goes, you haven't seen what I've seen. He needs to be able to go into hell and not and be able to come back out without getting hurt.
Right.
So that's why he makes her do it. So then he sends her to get Misty, which was a great scene. Fabulous scene.
I also wonder if that was a higher level test. If he goes in there and he can come out unscathed and he gets out with one of her girls,
right?
Is that strengthening her side and telling her, yeah, he went into hell?
Right.
Like, there's something going on here.
Well, I think there's some of that. I think, as you notice, she got 2 pretty powerful witches back from Michael. So is there a longer game in her getting Misty back, who is a very powerful witch?
Right.
Healing abilities are pretty amazing. And it was evident in Coven that she was almost Cordelia's equal in power.
I loved this. Her hell was having to be in biology class, and she had to keep dissecting this frog.
Yes.
And then when the guy got disemboweled, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was pretty gruesome. So yeah, she's in biology class and she heals the dead frog that they're supposed to dissect.
Right.
And the kid goes, Mr. Roberts, whatever his name is, she healed the frog again. And then he comes over, he goes, now you have to dissect it. She has to dissect it. She screams.
Now you got to deal with a live one.
He heals it, repeat. It's, Sisyphus going back and forth. And then, Michael comes down and
guts
the teacher, and then breaks the spell and brings Misty back.
And this was interesting. When Misty was around him, she could sense that there was evil,
right,
in Langdon. This is where I started really questioning that. Like when he had to go to hell to get her, I started thinking, why is she gathering her troops, or how is she getting him to gather her troops? Because that's what was going on. And why is nobody calling out the evil part of it? When Misty was, I'm like, I really think that's what's going on here. I think Cordelia is trying to play him.
Right.
The warlocks are inconsequential to her. It's him.
Yes, absolutely.
She knows something's wrong here.
Well, as she states, because pretty much a couple scenes later, Misty and Cordelia are talking after she gets, obviously gets back, and they're talking and stuff. Cordelia basically says, I let him do this so I could see how strong he was. Yeah. Because I knew he was strong. So there's obviously long term game for her, that she's getting her strength and getting all of her powerful witches back by her to help her in the long run. So
right.
And then they do the obligatory, we're going to bring the White Witch Stevie Nicks in.
And she'll do a song, and now we have something for our Spotify playlist.
Yes.
And but you know what? I actually kind of liked the scene.
Yeah, it was good because it was very evident, what was going on with that. So
yeah. And then that brings us to our end, which is Madison. Oh, there's something else?
Well, that you're right. So Cordelia,
Madison and Behold Chablis.
Yes.
They go off to hunt down the answers.
Yeah. But so here's the thing. Cordelia kind of gives a little flick to Madison. Hey, come talk to me. So Madison and Cordelia go off and talk while Stevie Nicks is having her song. And then we find out that Cordelia is sending Madison and Behold to
back to Murder House. Marty, we got to go back to Murder House. I loved it.
Yes.
As soon as they showed Murder House, I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, and then looking at the title of the next episode kind of ruined it for it's like, Death of Qui-Gon Jinn,
Yeah, right.
Oh, what? Oh, that's what happens? No, but so, they do get into that they're going back. But you also notice that when Cordelia and Madison kind of look at each other and leave, Langdon looks at him, and I think he has some idea what's happening. Whether it's everything or he knows that something's up. I think he's aware of that. So,
yeah, I agree. This was a great episode. This was one of those pitch perfect episodes. Although, spoiler, I might be saying something better about the next episode. So
for the first 5, this is the best one.
Oh my God. So that's it. Follow us on Twitter at DisturbedPod. Follow us on Facebook. Look up Disturbed Podcast. You can follow me at R Southgate. You can follow the company at SMG Pods, or look up Southgate Media Group. Send us an email. Get in conversation with us. It's southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. And also, when we do these live, Chris and I are on Google Hangout here. It shows on YouTube. You can jump in the chat room with us. So tonight has been pretty quiet as far as the chat room. Our friend Chris here, who jumps on, his phone died, so he couldn't join us tonight. But if you're out there and you want to chat with us, we answer live as you're doing stuff. Chris, you want to give some social media, and then we're out.
I can be found at Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media. Also at GeeksCon. That's Geeks with a Z.
There you go. That's it. Until next time, Chris, squeeze yourself back into that rubber suit.
Ew.